Hey everybody, I'm Dr. John Douillard and welcome to LifeSpa.com, where we prove the ancient medical wisdom of Ayurveda with modern science. And today I want to talk about something you probably have heard about called hydrogen water. And if you go to hydrogenwaterstudies.com, you'll see about almost 1,500 different studies on the benefits of hydrogen water. And I've written an article at LifeSpa.com going into the sort of highlighting what I think to be the most important studies that are there. I did buy a hydrogen water bottle a while back on TikTok shop for, I think this was like $35, and I used it, but I didn't really see much benefit. And if I used filtered water, I didn't see much hydrogen being infused into it. So I sort of lost faith in it. And then I saw an interview with Dr. Baratiera, who is the founder of a company called Echo Water, and he created and designed, after many, many years, something which is a super high-tech bottle that actually infuses hydrogen water into the bottle. And I actually had him on my podcast because I wanted to interview him and get more of the details. And one of the things about this first bottle of water, if you look at the bottom, there's no hole on it for any gas to be released. And what Dr. Baratola told us is that when you make hydrogen water, there are gases that have to be released for this to be pure hydrogen water. And if you look at the bottom of this, there's a little hole here where the gases are naturally released. And you can actually hear it being released. You can see tons of hydrogen water being infused into the bottle. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that or not. Doesn't look like you can. But anyway, it's sort of, when you take this one from the TikTok shop for just like $35, you're actually getting toxic gases into the water you're drinking. So please don't be fooled. If you're going to get hydrogen water, please don't get this cheap bottle from TikTok shop or online. They really, for it to be really good hydrogen water and put enough hydrogen in water for it to be beneficial, it really needs to be a fairly sophisticated kind of scientific device. And when you feel this thing, when you open it up, you'll hear a pop, which means that the hydrogen that's been infused will sort of pop out and you'll feel that pressure. It's one way you know you're actually getting enough hydrogen for it to actually make any difference at all in your body. Okay, but what is hydrogen water and why is it so important? Well, studies show that hydrogen water is a signaling molecule. It's really a very, very subtle molecule. If you look at the periodic table, hydrogen is the first element, which means it's the most minute and the most subtle. It can penetrate and pass through many different things. In fact, it was very difficult technologically to actually trap the hydrogen water in this bottle, because bottles like this, it literally just leaks right out because the hydrogen is such a small molecule. It finds its way through pretty much everything. Being a signaling molecule, which means it doesn't actually do anything specific. It sort of does everything kind of from a deeper underlying causative level. And let me try to explain that. In Ayurveda, we always say that the more subtle something is, the more powerful. Like the microbiome, you can't see it, but it's incredibly powerful. The birds fly south, the whales migrate based on nature's circadian rhythms, which they're tuned into. We can't see those rhythms, but it's Nobel Prize winning science, and it keeps everything in order on this planet. And we have biological clocks that are supposed to be in sync with those natural rhythms. And we also have microbes in our gut that create a kind of a deep functioning, kind of from underneath, supporting the whole body effect. And hydrogen water supports what are called anaerobic bacteria. 70% of the bacteria in your gut are what are called hydrogen producing. In other words, your natural body, your natural microbiome, 70% is producing hydrogen all the time. Obviously, that's probably really important if 70% of our bugs are producing hydrogen. Well, what does that hydrogen do? Well, that hydrogen acts as a free radical scavenger for what's called reactive oxygen species, which is the waste product of energy production. So your cells have a mitochondria organelle inside of them, which is the powerhouse of your cell that makes energy. And whenever you make energy, you're going to have some waste products that are significant, like nuclear waste is pretty significant, right? So in our body, we have to get rid of those waste products. And those are extremely oxidative. They're called reactive oxygen species, and they're very damaging. Well, the body had a plan for fixing that and getting rid of that. And when you're young and healthy, you kind of do a pretty good job of swabbing up all the free radical damage from energy production, right? But as we kind of age, kind of eat the wrong foods, kill the wrong bugs, lose some of those hydrogen-producing bacteria, we don't have the hydrogen that acts as a free radical scavenger for this reactive oxygen species. The other molecule that your body actually produces to swab up the free radical damage from energy production in every single cell of your body is melatonin. Literally the sun, the infrared light of the sun hits your skin, produces an enzyme called the cytochrome C oxidase enzyme, which produces not only energy, like a photosynthesis kind of thing. I know we were told that didn't happen, but we do make energy from the sun, humans do. And the sun also helps us make more melatonin inside the cell that actually is a powerful, maybe even the most powerful free radical scavenging agent that swabs up that free radical damage, which can cause DNA damage and accelerated aging. So as we age and we get more light pollution, we produce less and less of this intercellular melatonin. It's completely different than melatonin that makes you go to sleep at night. That's only 10% of the melatonin in your body. 90% of the melatonin in your body is locked inside your cell to kind of swab up and neutralize all the free radical damage from the energy production in the cell. So melatonin is in charge of that, as well as the hydrogen that your bugs are naturally making, and that's 70% of the bugs in your gut. Those bugs, those hydrogen-producing bugs, are really good at delivering fuel in the form of fat and fiber. Aerobic bacteria, which are the more common probiotics that you would take, like lactobacillus and bifidobacteria, they're aerobic gut bacteria, and they're really good at helping your body get sugar out of your gut into your blood to give you energy from the form of sugar. Now, as you can imagine, we've been doing a lot of processed and highly processed and refined sugars and carbohydrates that are really quickly absorbed in our blood, and therefore we end up with a stable of bugs in our gut that are really good at delivering the sugar that we're constantly consuming into our blood and creating an issue with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes and glycation-related issues, which is the excess sugar in your blood sticking or glycating to protein molecules, causing inflammation, and really the smoking gun for age-related degenerative concerns, right? So a lot of information there, but what you actually have is a stable, most of us do, because we've been eating so much sugar for so long now, a stable of bugs in our gut that are mostly aerobic versus anaerobic. We lose a lot of the anaerobic bacteria like firmicutes and bacteroidetes, which are shown to be powerful agents for mood stability, for energy, for vitality, for delivering stable blood sugar. All of these things are well studied, and when you drink hydrogen water, you get more. You're feeding the anaerobic bacteria that we have lost over time because of the chronic consumption of refined carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates aren't bad. They're harvested, generally speaking, at the end of the summer, which is when you get all your fruits and vegetables and grains. And after that, you don't get a lot of really complex carbohydrates in the diet, which allow the bugs in the gut to shift back to things like bacteroidetes and actinobacteria and firmicutes, all of which are anaerobic bacteria. So we are supposed to, and this was studied in the hunter-gatherer tribes, their gut bugs change dramatically from season to season. We know the gut bugs in the soil change dramatically from season to season. So we should also change dramatically from season to season, but we don't eat seasonally. We spray our food with pesticides to kill those bugs. So even if we did eat seasonally, we wouldn't have the right bugs from the soil inoculating our gut with the right bugs for the right season to give us the benefit and protection and support for that season. So that's why I sort of have fell in love with the hydrogen water, because you're naturally feeding your gut with the hydrogen and creating an environment for the good anaerobic bacteria to proliferate. Studies also show that when you drink hydrogen water, it increases exercise performance, both aerobic performance and anaerobic performance. Studies also show that when you drink hydrogen water, it actually lowers your LDL, increases your HDL, lowers your ApoB and your cholesterol levels, all of which are critically important for metabolic health. So there's so many more things that hydrogen water does, but I think the most important piece is that it's functioning at a very, very deep layer in terms of those sort of invisible bugs that we can't see, but they're actually kind of running the show. And when you get them out of whack, I think we all now agree that if your microbiome is out of balance, you pay a dear price. They did a study, it was also a Stanford study, and they measured the gut bugs of mummies in both New Mexico and Arizona that were over 1,000 years old, that were in a museum. And they compared them to the bugs of modern humans. And they found that the modern humans had such a lack of microbial diversity compared to the ancient humans that they're calling it an extinction event. If you go back 1,000 years, they didn't have the refined foods, they didn't have the complex carbohydrates, they ate foods that were in season, and everything was not hybridized to the point to be so sweet, which proliferates these aerobic bacteria. You lose your anaerobic bacteria, and that creates a microbial imbalance or microbial disruption in your gut. So that's why I like it. I mean, the Echo Water Plus, this is the one that actually, you kind of let it kind of bubble up for about 10 minutes, and you get 4.5 parts per million, which is an extremely therapeutic dose. And when you open it up, you can hear that pop, I think. That's the hydrogen coming out. It's ready to go. And at echowater.com, they actually have a 360-degree challenge, where if you do this for 3 months and you drink 3 bottles of this a day, if you don't feel significantly better, they give you all your money back. And if you look at the link below, Echo Water is giving us sharing a discount with you guys where you can get a significant discount off our hydrogen water. So follow that link, get your hydrogen water, and give this a go for 3 months. If you don't feel better, you get your money back. It's a pretty cool and powerful, discount and guarantee, money back guarantee. All right, guys, well, that's the deal on hydrogen water. I have a full article at LifeSpa.com where you can go read all the science and click on it and learn more about the benefits of it. I personally felt when I first started doing it, I noticed my blood sugar level started to come down significantly, and like most of us, my blood sugar over the years has crept up just a little bit. I'm still within the normal range, but I would love to get it down a little bit lower, and I keep working on that, and that seemed to lower it. I also noticed that my digestion, even though my digestion has been pretty good, I found that it was much easier for me to regulate the weight that I like, which is around 171 pounds, just about 6 feet tall. So I like to maintain that particular weight, and it's easy for me to gain weight if I start going off my diet and not be strict. But I found with this, I didn't have to be as strict, and I still was able to maintain that weight fairly effortlessly. So I was pretty happy with this, and I feel just really good about drinking from this bottle versus this bottle. I only keep it because I want to show you the difference. It's really a piece of junk. It's just a Chinese knockoff, and this came with only Chinese information. There was no English in the information about how to use it. That was a kind of a red flag. But anyway, this is something that when you get a hold of this thing and feel it, you'll realize this is quite a sophisticated instrument that I know that Dr. Paul took many, many years, decades even, for him to develop it. And I'm super happy he did. All right, guys, so go to LifeSpa.com, check out the whole full article. While you're there, check out our Ayurvedic store where you can get all of our Ayurvedic herbs, organic, and Ayurvedic skincare, and books and knowledge, and all of our thousands of articles and videos about ancient wisdom and modern science. And all that information for you guys is free. All right, thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard. Do you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe and share.
This recording is brought to you by LifeSpa, where ancient Ayurvedic wisdom meets modern science. Get access to free health video newsletters by Dr. John at lifespa.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.